I do ask each candidate to be respectful of the agreed upon timelines. Now, for our opening statements, with an order determined by a drawing held earlier this evening, we will ask first candidate Hildebrand.
Thank you. I thought we were going to get 3 minutes, 2 minutes, that's okay. There's a lot of problems in Washington, and there's a lot of solutions that aren't being used. Number one, industrial hemp. We could be growing our own energy right now. Why are we digging for it? Why are we mining for it? Why are we having disasters like Fukushima in the Gulf? Because of the illegality of a plant, industrial hemp, which has some 25,000 different uses. It's the economic shot in the arm our district and nation needs now. It used to be illegal in the state of Virginia not to grow hemp. Okay, so it's based on silly propaganda, and we need to end that. We need to end all plant illegalities. It's really crazy for law enforcement to be chasing people for plant possession, plants that were given to us on this earth. And even poppies, yes, that's right. Look at in early 2001, the Taliban had eradicated poppy production in Afghanistan, okay? And now we have our soldiers over there patrolling their fields, and Obama saying, well, it's their old culture. Wait a minute. Colin Powell went over there with $120 million check for them to give them for eradicating the poppies. We can't do what they did. That's nonsense. So we have our government working for poppy production and then over here arresting people. Last thing, tax structure. We need to revert it back to what it was like in the 60s or 70s. In fact, it was the top 1% were taxed 70% on their highest income all the way up until Reagan got into office. What I'm suggesting is that we break down the top 1% category because times have changed, and it's not the same as $250K as a billionaire, but we need to even that out. So if we straighten out the tax structure and legalize industrial hemp, those two things will help us tackle that $18 trillion debt we have. We need to stop electing puppets and have people in office. Thank you.
And now, candidate Hildebrand.
Okay. What I think we need to do regarding immigration is take a look at why have we received this massive immigration. And that's because, in no small part, NAFTA. These trade organizations, what they've done is they destroyed the Mexican farmers. And so the farmers couldn't compete with our corporate subsidized farming up here, and so the workers started going up north. And if you take a look at these people who are coming here, they look Native American to me, a lot of them. I mean, they probably have more rights to this land than we do. We're all a nation of immigrants. Now, I've seen both sides of this too, as I remember walking the streets of New York City and talking to a guy who was going through garbage, and he said, well, Ken, you don't understand. And he got, most people don't get it in my face, but he did. Smaller guy, but he knew I didn't mean any harm. He said, look, I see this another way. They pack 20 people into a room, and they can outwork me. So again, it has to do with the scarcity issue. Let's revert the tax structure back to where it's not all going toward the top 1% and everybody else is behind the 8 ball. And then we don't have this thing where we feel like, everybody's arguing over the crumbs. And we need to treat these people with respect when they come in here, not just throw them in cages. So that's my view on immigration reform. Look back in time and get at the roots.
Thank you. Thank you. Candidate Hildebrand, anything further?
Oh, definitely. Well, let me, first of all, I want to speak to her absence. I used to be a track runner. I ran a 420 mile in high school. I almost didn't run the mile on that day. When I ran 420, I'd run 421 a couple times. I said to the coach, I just really felt burnt. He said, well, give it a shot. Well, with 1 lap to go, it was 3:19, and there the pack was. I went by everybody, including my teammate who I'd never beaten. He got second in the country in the 800 meters. And I ran 420 mile. Robert Hurt didn't show tonight. He didn't show tonight because he couldn't defend his views. He's ducked Jeffrey Clark in the past, and he ducked me in the past. And what else did he have to do that was more important than getting up and saying, look, I'm asking you to hire me, and I'm trying to give you a reason why you would want to hire me. He's not here. What else is he doing tonight? And incidentally, he couldn't be here supposedly on the 20th, the 28th, the 29th, and the 30th. If anybody buys that, then they deserve Robert Hurt. However, the rest of us do not. The worst of victims do not. And he's done a lot of damage in these immigration policies. You know, NAFTA was supposed to be re-looked at through Obama, and that never happened. So we need, again, with the immigration, to look at the underlying causes, and we need to get rid of this scarcity by taxing the rich what they deserve to be taxed.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, regarding this, again, I think that, I mean, for voters to be disenfranchised, that's not a good thing. But I look at what's the major problem. As a former physician, that's what I look at. Well, what's causing the problem in the first place? What's the biggest problem with elections? The biggest problem with elections, you can look at my website of topconcern.com, and that's my book. It's going to be changed, the name, to Election Spoilers. The spoilers are those who censor the other candidates and claim that there's just two. I mean, we got our signatures based on, Elaine got the signature. She's much better than me. I got some of them, but she's much better than me. And she just said, not a Democrat, not a Republican. Okay, where do I sign? People are fed up. Sorry, Lawrence, you don't really fit the mold, though, okay? He's better than most. I like these two guys. They're good gentlemen. And, you know, my problems are with the parties, certain things. But anyway, we really need to look at the debate inclusion. So again, for Robert Hurt, he's asking for you to hire him, and he's not here tonight. We're here tonight. We're here to say, look, we're asking you to hire us.
Right.
We're gonna, you know, I'm gonna be your employee, you know. And I feel that these guys feel the same way. You know, Hurt does not feel that way, okay? He's probably never worked screens in his life. But, you know, it's debate inclusion again. I think that I don't like to see people losing their ability to vote because they were caught with a marijuana cigarette or something like that. That's horrible. But again, debate inclusion, debate inclusion, debate inclusion. That's where we need to look.
Thank you. Candidate Hildebrand.
Okay, continuing on what? I'm sorry.
If you'd like a response about voter process and voter registration.
Well, I mean, I can just keep saying the same thing. Well, I do thank Lawrence Gahn for being here, because last time the Democrat wouldn't face me, and that's not right. We all need to be here. And I think that the debate inclusion, again, no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter how much you spend and all this, if you don't show up at the debate, debates mean everything. That's where you talk to the public and they get to banter the issues back and forth, and you really get to look at things. I do want to address, since we have a few moments, the issue of change. I don't mean to belittle anyone, but I think Obama gave it a bad name. He was in with the mainstream. There was only so far he could take things. And it's not a race issue. We're all the same race, the human race. We all have a common ancestor who is dark-skinned out of Africa. So racism is just complete absurdity, okay? So to like a person for race or not like them for race is crazy. But the change thing, I think Obama did damage to that, and I'm sorry to see that he did, because people say, oh, well, others have said this before. No, he was always backed by the others, and he never gave real reasons for change. I don't like the word belief. Okay.
Thank you. Candidate Hildebrand.
Okay, there's many things that we need to do legislatively immediately. We need to legalize industrial hemp. We need to put in legislation also about the tax structure. Legalize all plants. They gave me this last time. I said, well, you have one thing. Well, here I'm giving three. Okay, so legalize all plants. All right, that covers that. That covers the marijuana, that covers the drug war, well, most of the drug war. And legalize industrial hemp and revert the tax structure back to what it was like in the 60s. Okay, now we we get into the fun stuff. This is the reason why I'm running up here, and I think I'm the best candidate. Things go much deeper than what you're seeing. Professor Noam Chomsky has said that we live entangled in webs of endless deceit in a highly indoctrinated society where elementary truths are easily buried. Why is all this money going to the military-industrial complex? Well, let me tell you something. There was an act in 1947, the National Security Act, that created a secret government. It exists. It's not a conspiracy theory. You can look up Bill Moyer's special on it. And they act outside of the Constitution. Senator Inouye said they have their own Air Force, their own Navy, and their own fundraising mechanism. Now they're not having bake sales, are they, folks? So they have been tied to the drug war, and that's probably why we really invaded Afghanistan. So we need somebody who's going to know a little bit about the secret government and will really dive in there and tackle some of those issues and not be scared to. And I'm one of those people, because the secret government has gotten totally out of hand. They're even involved in weather manipulation. You can look up Senate Bills 517 and House Bill 2995, weather manipulation without public oversight.
Thank you.